Hello, and welcome to Roseplay Presents, episode 70. As always, I'm your host, Aurian MoonRose, and today is a 0 or 5 episode, it being a 0, being episode 80. And every 5 episodes, like I promised, we'd continue to delve into my past with Atama's Review Corner. Now, you're gonna find it weird. Wait, I thought you'd been having your picture down in the corner while watching the episode, and yes, that has been true. Unfortunately, recently Microsoft has decided to get rid of the Mixer software on computers because people weren't using it enough and could use OBS and all that good stuff. Unfortunately, I haven't got that far into learning how to use it, or if I will ever use it correctly. So, I'm doing one of the old episodes where I popped up before, won't do it at the end this time, where I popped up and would talk a little. So, since this is Roseplay Presents, where anything can happen, including interviews with content creators and developers, closed betas, E3 events in general, Adam's Review Corner, and what other else I can squeeze into here, thought it was a perfect time to talk about it. So, for this episode, we are going to do this, go to the episode, and end it there. Because I want to inform you guys that there is going to be some shows from now on that may only have, how do I want to put it? That may only have voice and not video. And I do apologize for that, but sometimes there's nothing you can do. If I can get, I think it's OBS to work correctly and actually have a camera up there while streaming stuff, I will, including me trying to get the Nintendo one to work for the Switch. Funny that I can get, like, the Game Boy to pop up onto it with few hookups, but no, I have an issue doing it with the Switch. Go figure. Anyway, enough talk about that. Let's get into today's episode. Today's episode will be the Season 2 finale, Episode 9 of Adam's Review Corner, where I will be reviewing Mass Effect back on the Kinect in the day on Xbox 360. Most of the stuff that I say in this I do still agree with. It was a simpler time when BioWare wasn't in hot water or having troubles, so I really praised them back then, and back then for Mass Effect 2 might have been one of the greatest games ever for them, besides Star Wars. And keep an eye out on my jiving eyebrows, as apparently, for whatever reason, the Kinect, I should say, loves to make my eyebrows go. It's just hilarious. I was cracking up watching it, like I couldn't even take the review seriously. But other than that, it's a pretty normal review, and at the end of it, I state that we will be back with the Season 3, Episode 0 introduction, which is Review Corner's final season, unfortunately, due to the fact that, again, Kinect disappeared. I had trouble maintaining internet, and a few other factors that, life, what can you do? Anyway, when this episode ends, the next time we come back with Roseplay Presents, we will be continuing, apparently nothing, as this won't load. Hi. You gonna load? Yes. There we go. Well, we will be continuing on with our E3 2019 showcases and press conferences with the Kinda Funny Showcase. One of them that I didn't catch, so I don't exactly know what's going to happen with that one, but we will find out together. But until then, remember, keep gaming, never give up, and enjoy, laugh at, or be disgusted by Adam's Review Corner, Season 2, Episode 9, Mass Effect's Review. Hello, and welcome to everyone out there. This is the season finale for Season 2, Episode 9 of Atama's Review Corner.
This show is made possible thanks to the Xbox 360 and its Avatar Connect Fun Labs app. I am your digital host, Atama Darkening. And today, I shall be continuing in the series of Mass Effect with Mass Effect 2. For any who missed out on my first review of Mass Effect, I will have a link in the info box right down here, or at least I believe it's down here. I'm never sure. But anyway, gather your weapons, crew, and ship, and prepare to be reviewed by the Reapers. So, as in my review of Mass Effect, I talked about an ancient threat that turned out to be the Reapers. In this one, you continue the battle against them as Commander Shepard. Rather than go straight into how everything is like I normally do in my reviews, let's start a little different. In fact, what is different between Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2? For starters, Shepard's crew this time around is just as interesting as the first crew were. Out of all the new members, only 2 from the previous installment join up with Shepard. This time, the crew is more captivating, really shining in character development, at least in my opinion. For those who played and beat Mass Effect 1, and also decided to keep their save data, BioWare has incorporated the player's end save data from all the choices that were accumulated and made in Mass Effect 1. This can really influence how people react to Shepard, and helps to shape the world around the player to the way they want it. This is a great addition to the series, and gaming in general. Whenever a game can take a good variety of choices and have consequences shown throughout the game, heck, it's even better when it decides to continue in the sequels. This alone can really make this game and the players feel like it's their own, and become very immersed in all there is in the Mass Effect universe. Another great thing that BioWare does is listen to what the gamers like and didn't like in the first one. By doing so, they have massively improved upon the content and helped to get rid of what didn't work for the game and players. Within Mass Effect 2, there is an option of sending information to BioWare directly as you play the game. This can be accessed via the options menu at the beginning. This shows them what gamers do within the game, who was used the most for characters, and what choices were the most popular. It really helps to show, at least in my opinion, that BioWare loves to care about their audience, and to make their games more pleasing to those who really like to get involved in their stories and gameplay. The same classes that were in the first are back. However, this time each one has more tricks and special abilities that make the classes unique to one another, and gives a broader range of replayability to find the class that works best for the gamer. Like with such abilities as rushing across the room to an enemy, or to sending out drones. This time around, the battle zones and areas during missions and exploring are less repetitive, having less of the same environments and more different variations of environments to explore. In Mass Effect 2, the Mako car and exploration on mostly abandoned planets are completely gone. This was because they were considered to be very boring by the gamers, and BioWare listened. It was scrapped to give side missions more pizzazz and a better story feel. The dialogue tree is improved as well, giving more choices and letting Shepard say his own unique brand of dialogue, unlike the first one where it wasn't still bad, it was fun, but he followed whatever the player picked for the option or the choice. It's not done this time, though. What you choose, he says in his own brand of personality. This also changes the longer you go with one side of choices or another, mostly the Paragon or Renegade. The same could also be said of if you switch off between Paragon and Renegade, he'll have this, I don't know, sort of half-cocked attitude, but still fun to watch. There are 12 playable characters, DLC included. Okay, technically 13 with Liara's DLC, but only for a short time. It's not permanent, but gives way into the third Mass Effect along with the Arrival DLC. There are also no more, or at least very few, texture pop-ups and better built environments that just want to make the player explore and look around for a bit. But still, there are and can be some bugs. However, not enough and very few to hinder the feel for the player. Now that the differences are out of the way, I can finally move on to the combat and game mechanics. The combat has been much improved, and both the combat and mechanics are quite easier and smoother than the previous one. The AI is much more intelligent, and number two, I never had to issue any orders, which, as I mentioned in the first Mass Effect review, I had felt that giving out orders were pretty much pointless, as I did everything myself. I still did feel this in the second one. However, at least I felt safer, as I did everything with competent partners this time around. Enemies can still be as dumb as the first one, however, in different ways. I, myself, play as an infiltrator class, and so this was especially true on the hardcore difficulty for me, where the enemies were still being just as dumb as in the first. If my party happened to be all knocked out, then the enemies would begin to close in on me. Then all I would do is just go invisible, and enemies would start walking away. Like there was no one even there, giving me time to either move on to better or further cover to survive till I won, or just started shooting them right in the head with my sniper rifle for critical hits while invisible. Then wait for the invisibility skill to regenerate, and before they were able to get back around to me, and just repeat the process all over again. In all honesty, this combat system felt like I was playing Gears of War. At certain points of time, so much so that I was calling it Gears of Effect 2. Either way, I still enjoyed the combat. However, it took a bit to get used to having ammo this time around, as you had an infinite supply in the first one. Having the ammo can give a little bit of strategy to the game, at least compared to the first Mass Effect game. The menus were much easier to navigate, letting the player focus more on the story and combat, and less time on feeling like they were in a game. Items were also much better done, as any excess items not needed went straight to cha-ching money. Unlike the first one, that had the player backtrack to sell or even just drop the stuff where they were, just to procure more, which made it a hassle for players. Mass Effect 2 is all about the choices. Even some of the ones made from the first game make an impact on the second installment. The more the gamer plays, the more the story and the world are shaped by the outcome of his or her choices. Again, though, in this installment, like the last, there are not really any evil choices, as there are just seen as being needed to help save the galaxy by any means necessary. But at what cost? When the player does well, or do the more passive choices, there still may be negative consequences later on in the game, or the series. However, no matter which way the player may choose between the passive good or aggressive good choices, it is certain that they will influence the third Mass Effect as well. Perhaps even in a more monumental way than the first two. Voice acting is still top-notch, lending from the same voice actors from the first Mass Effect, as well as a few new famous additions to the cast for the second one. Most notably is that of Martin Sheen, who plays the Elusive Man, who in my opinion not only helps to bring the story to life, but he also seems to steal the show from the rest of the actors, as well as the voice actor Carrie-Anne Moss, who most may remember as Trinity in the Matrix series, giving one of the most remembered lines in the game as Aria T'Loak. This time around, the player gets to fly the Normandy itself on the world map, or, I guess, space map. However, the loss of exploration with the Mako is replaced instead by sending probes from the Normandy to the planets for resources to help improve stats, the ship, or weapons. This side quest, though, was what was the most boring and time-consuming part of the game, this time around for me at least, as it just felt like a massive grind to complete all the stuff needed for the endgame. To summarize and add, some of the best features are choices that do matter, even if it may be later on in the game or the end of the trilogy, the beautiful and flawless storytelling, and great seamless gameplay between the shooter and RPG elements in the game. And then some of the bad things about the game are the mining, which may take the player out of the story, and the second Mass Effect is very referencing towards the first one, hurting the storyline just a little to gamers new to the series, especially when the game gives plot points from the first game, or references something but really doesn't follow up on it. Heck, even when it has a returning character, which would drive the fans of the first one nuts, it may just leave the player who never touched the first one in the dark. Lastly, for those who like achievements or only play the games for achievements, they will feel deja vu as almost the entire game is a repeat list from the first Mass Effect, following with mostly storyline achievements and side quest achievements. The game did, however, drop its get so many kills with so many weapons and abilities, only throwing in a few use a weapon or a skill for a single time use. That may combine other abilities and skills to unlock such achievements. The hardest achievement the player may run into is Insanity. Yes, this time around, at least in my opinion, the difficulty achievement of beating the game on the hardest difficulty is indeed hard. Or at least it is in retrospect to the first Mass Effect, especially being maxed out in the levels. But this time, for the number 2, this is not true. It does help to be maxed out, however, it can or may still give a more challenging feel to the hardcore gamers. There are no online achievements. On a scale of how difficult it is to acquire all the achievements from 1 to 10, I would give this game a 6 to a 6.5 out of 10 for its harder, highest difficulty play through and trying to keep the whole crew alive towards the end. So, in conclusion, Mass Effect 2 is a better game in almost every sense of the word. Even for those who missed out the first time, should at least give this game a chance. BioWare even went as far to do a nice recap, allowing you to make the main choices that will affect the game for the PS3 owners. And then later on, it was a DLC in the Xbox version. Pretty much it's just a comic which lets you watch and then make the choices, stops, do you do this, do you do that. This game will be so much more powerful if the player has played the first one, however. And for those who love non-linear stories, Mass Effect 2 is one of the most non-linear games I have seen for an action RPG shooter. Only throwing one or two missions right in your face that needs to be accomplished. Yeah, this also seems to happen at the worst time, when the player, or at least me, just wanted to continue to explore first and get up as high as I could. In my opinion, games like Mass Effect 2 don't come around often enough, but when they do, this is when we, as gamers, win, along with the company that does it. The final score for Mass Effect 2 is 9.8 out of 10. So until next season, do come back at the beginning of January 2012 to Adam's Review Corner, Season 3, Episode 0, for the introduction to Season 3. And remember, keep gaming and reaching for those achievements in games and life.